Pakistan has just invited Prime Minister Modi for the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, to be held in Islamabad shortly. India has, of course, declined politely, and our Foreign Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, has gone on record to state that the era of uninterrupted dialogue between India and Pakistan is now over, it's passé, it's finito, and that there will be consequences for actions. The amazing fact is that Pakistan has the chutzpah to try and invite India for summit level talks after all that it has done. And let me just recount some of its most brazen and the latest shenanigans. Pakistan has made a desperate attempt to revive terrorism south of the Pir Panjals. Pakistan found that a vacuum had been created there because during COVID we had done away with 180,000 soldiers from the Indian Army by just simply stopping any recruitment for 3 years. And for 3 years, each year 60,000 people kept retiring, so 180,000 is the overall number deficit, the unfortunate enforced cut in the Indian numerical strength of the Indian armed forces. Now this has been, I think, a very, very dangerous kind of a situation to create for yourself, because China and Pakistan, two nuclear armed countries, are our antagonists. They are baying for our blood, more or less. They're trying to do as much harm and damage as they can, put as much pressure as they can. And if we have to fight China or Pakistan or both, the war will mostly be in the mountains, which eats up troops. Counter-terrorist, counter-insurgency operations simply eat up troops. So a slash of 180,000 was a bit dangerous. It created gaps south of the Pir Panjal, especially in Rajouri and Poonch. Then uniform force was taken out from there, taken to Ladakh, created a further gap which Pakistan is now doing its utmost to revive infiltration and try and exploit to the hilt. We have had about over 50 casualties inflicted on our troops. There are some rumors of SSG elements or former SSG elements having infiltrated into Jammu and Kashmir. There are a number of talks of, Ilyas Fauji, etc., former Pakistani elements of the SSG being sent into India for, carrying out mayhem, trying to revive terrorism, and especially interfere with the elections, assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir. It's been trying to revive terrorism in the Punjab, and Pakistan has been seriously complicit in the as I was saying, in the attempt to enforce regime change in Bangladesh. If after all this, Pakistan has the temerity, the chutzpah to say nothing has happened, come and talk to us, I think there seems to be some serious cognitive dysfunction in Islamabad. India has said a blunt no, and very rightly so. Pakistan is a country on the brink of economic meltdown, on the brink of civil war, breakup and chaos. And let's not forget, it is a nuclear armed state. And this kind of a collapse scenario in Pakistan can have serious and very dangerous consequences, not just for South Asia, but for the world in general. Pakistan is facing 1 million mutinies right now. The Baluch people are in strident, white-hot revolt. Just recently, on the anniversary of the assassination of the Baluch patriarch Akbar Khan Bukti, whom Musharraf had murdered in a cave many decades, almost 2 decades back. On the eve of that massacre, on the eve of that assassination, the Baluchis have struck back viciously, and they had picked out, stopped a bus, picked out people, Punjabis in specific, those who have been looting and exploiting Baluchistan, treating it as a virtual colony, and they shot them. The estimates of casualties, depending upon whom you ask, vary from 28 plus to about 120. And there have been a series of other incidents in which they have tried to hit back. For all the enforced disappearances, for all the damage done to them, they have tried to hit back, and hit back quite hard. There is a revolt brewing in Sindh. There is an actual revolt in Gilgit-Baltistan. The people of Pakistan occupied Kashmir are up in arms. ये जो दहशत गर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, is what they are saying. So, the fact of the matter is, Pakistan is not only at the brink of economic meltdown, it is also staring at the abyss of civil war, and worse. State collapse is what we are seeing. It is a denouement of the fact that Pakistan is an over-militarized state, and Pakistan has been, profligate in its defense spending. The Pakistan army has the prime claim to resources of that unfortunate country. They have bled the people white. The people don't get 2 square meals a day. And because of the IMF impositions, the costs of power, the costs of electricity bills are shooting through the roof. People whose whose monthly pay is less than 40 to 50,000 are getting electricity bills of 60,000, and they are in white hot revolt. The Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistan itself, the leader had warned Shahbaz Sharif that if you keep kowtowing to the IMF, then you won't get a plane to fly out of Pakistan. He had gone to that extent, and threatened that his regime would be thrown out lock, stock and barrel. And he was threatening him with a fate more dire than what happened to Hasina Wajid, who at least got a ride out of her country. So the fact of the matter is that Pakistan is hovering on the brink of collapse. Paul Kennedy had said very clearly that Pakistan is an over-militarized state, and it could collapse from imperial overreach and overstretch. They have been bleeding this country white at a time like this, when the Pakistan is going with a begging bowl to every corner of the globe, to Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, United States, China, with a begging bowl. It's been spending, their defense spending has been pushed up by almost 10% plus, you see. So this is a state that is bound to implode sooner or later, and it is trying to gain legitimacy by inviting India for talks, by saying, look, India takes us seriously, where the fact is that this is a state on the disaster list, on the verge of collapse. And I don't think India should be wasting its breath trying to talk to this state, and especially when at the brink of economic collapse, this state has the temerity to try and resuscitate terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, resuscitate terrorism in the Punjab, and it got a tranche of about $7 billion from the IMF. The Pakistan ISI has laid the primary claim, and they have used a fair amount of it to try and destabilize Bangladesh. Bangladesh, which was a former colony of West Pakistan, and which had now started doing far better than Pakistan. In fact, 15 years of peace and stability that Hasina Wajid had ushered into Bangladesh saw the Bangladesh economy going by 6% per annum, very impressive growth rates. They had ready-made garment industry export, which was doing so well in the market. And by 2015, 2016, Bangladesh per capita GDP had overtaken that of Pakistan. By 2021, per capita GDP of India. So they were doing marvelously well. Unfortunately, COVID sort of put a spanner in the works, and their ready-made garment industry took a serious hit, which was their primary export earner, primary foreign exchange earner, etc., because of which they were doing so well. That took a hit, and then we had the Ukrainian war, which sent the prices of oil shooting up. So inflation began to rise, unemployment began to rise, and full advantage of that has been taken by the United States to stage a colored revolution in Bangladesh. And the hatchet man has been Pakistan. And Pakistan has tried to undo, they are claiming they have undone the entire restructuring of subcontinental security that Pakistan had effected in India had effected in 1971. The entire security restructuring has been undone, and India is now in a 3-front war situation, 3.5-front war situation rather than 2.5-front war situation, and they have been growing. Then they actually expect India, the Indian Prime Minister, to saunter up to Islamabad and engage in parleys, talks and negotiations. Like I said, this is a state which is seriously dysfunctional. It has lost all track of simple logic, simple cause-effect relationships. And that is why its desperation to sort of return to a normal state status by engaging India in dialogue, a country of consequence, now on the global arena, which is now the 5th largest economy, going to the 4th. Pakistan feels that maybe India would give out doles, handouts. It's got a hope. I mean, it is amazing that Pakistan hopes that it will get some crumbs from New Delhi to get bailed out, when it is doing its level best to dismantle the Indian Republic.